Hey guys, this is Goku, and on this channel we talk about poker and ideas that can improve your life. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and click the subscribe button because I'll be honored to have you here. In this video, we're gonna be talking about the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word poker, and that of course is bluffing. So, let's get right into it. Bluffing is where you pretend to have a strong hand when in fact your hand is very weak. Bluffing is a crucial aspect of poker, but it is very important that you bluff with the right frequency. If you bluff too much, it won't be profitable, but if you can find the sweet spot, bluffing will bring you great profit in the long run, because it will keep your opponents guessing. They'll never be completely sure whether you have the nuts or are just stone cold bluffing. The person who never bluffs will never get much action, and the person who always bluffs will get all the action but will eventually go broke. If you're new to poker, try to use bluffing as little as possible. You'll gradually increase the amount of bluffs as you get more experienced until you can find that sweet spot. The ideal opponent to bluff is a weak type player, because most of the time he'll be willing to go broke only with the nuts. So there are pure bluffs and semi-bluffs. Pure bluff is when you know you don't have the best hand and have no chance of winning the pot if you get called, and semi-bluffs are when you can still catch cards that might get you the best hand. Semi-bluffs are the best if you haven't played many hands yet, as they give you multiple ways to win the pot. You may win it right away because your opponent folds, or you may win it later because your hand turns out to actually be the best, or you hit your draw and it gives you the best hand. In general, you should only use bluffing against players who are not going to call too much. Never try to bluff a loose passive player, as he might call you all the way with a third pair. Also, you should size your bluffs the same way as you would size your value bets. Of course, that's when you're playing against good players. It's good to have a strategy when bluffing. For example, say you open with an ace-8 suited from middle position and get called by the button. The flop comes queen-8-3. You know that your opponent is a good tight aggressive player. You make a continuation bet and he calls. At this point you put him roughly on a range like queen 10 plus 40% of the time, pocket 3s, 8s or queen 8 15% of the time, pocket 9s, ace 8, king 8, jack 8, 9 8, ace 7 20% of the time, and bluffs and semi-bluffs 25% of the time. There's 3500 in the pot and the turn is a king. It doesn't help your hand, but it's a scary card for your opponent. So now you think if you bet 2000, he will fold all his bluffs and semi-bluffs, 8s and weak queens. So you continue to tell the story and fire a second barrel at the pot and he calls. The river is a deuce. You know that it didn't help his range, as by now you've got it narrowed down to something like this. 2 pair or better 55% of the time, queen jack or queen 10 45% of the time. There's 7500 in the pot and you think there is a high chance that he will fold his queen jack and queen 10 hands if you bet 5500. You bet and your opponent tanks for a couple of minutes and then folds his hand showing ace queen. You show him the bluff, knowing that he'll be more likely to call you next time when you actually do have a big hand. Okay, great. Let's sum up what you've learned. Bluffing is a crucial element of poker. It's very profitable because it allows you to win pots when you don't have the best hand and also win more money when you do have the best hand. The key to bluffing is the balance of how often you bluff. It's important not to bluff too much and not to bluff too little. Your ideal bluffing opponent is a weak tight player, and the worst opponent to bluff is a loose passive player. There are pure bluffs and semi-bluffs, and for beginners it's best to start bluffing with semi-bluffs as they give you more ways to win the pot. It's important to size your bluffs the same way as you would size your value bets so that your opponents can never tell anything from your sizing. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and post them below and I'll be sure to answer them as best as I can. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to watch more videos like this in the future. This video is part of a complete poker course dedicated to beginner and casual players that teaches the fundamentals, the most basic principles and strategies of No Limit Texas Hold'em. If you want to become a winning poker player, check it out at Udemy and Skillshare. The links are in the description of this video.